The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is The Loud List, where our random, rowdy, and raunchy band of misfits create top 10 lists of life's most insane shit. Be scared. Nothing is off limits. So congratulations.
You just made the list!
I am the music god CJ Plain, and you are here for the re-debut of The Loud List. We're back, bitches. We're gonna do lists. Lists that rock. Lists that are funny, sad, scary, stupid, and just pretty much all around fun. Over here, there, wherever he is oriented on your screen, or if you're listening to the audio side, you won't hear his voice. This is Mr. Dante, otherwise known as Xcursion, hip-hop artist, writer, gentleman extraordinaire, and for those of you who are unacquainted with him, he's going to give you a brief breakdown on who he is, and then we're going to tell you what we're doing here, list-wise.
Hey, no, first and foremost, appreciate you. And then you know what I'm saying? This is your man's Xcursion here now. I am a rap artist, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Salute to my homie said I'm a pop artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's dope as hell, because once you hit pop, you know what I'm saying, you didn't reach the echelon here that not too many people can. So definitely appreciate that one. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I am an artist, you know what I mean? I am a podcaster. And shoot, I'm a commentator. You know what I mean? So so definitely be sure. Yeah, yes, indeed. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, no, off the top, you know what I mean? Just hey, definitely looking forward to saying to having fun with y'all today, and definitely vibe out with me here too. Shoot, on my streaming platforms, YouTube, social media, I will be giving those before this episode ends. But yeah, I mean, definitely looking forward to vibing out with y'all here and even going forward.
So with bringing the Loud List back, we're going to have a rotating cast of people you will see. They will be recurring. They will sort of be known like the cartoon. They will be basically known as the Loud Family or the Loud Crowd. So this is the first of the many people you will be seeing, like him, Jeremy, Harley, and a few other random people that are going to hopefully entertain you and make you want to listen. Now, if you want to take part in this, I am open. I have a big ass list of topics, or you can create your own. If there is something that you want to make a top 10 list of, greatest of all time, or just your favorite 10 recipes that your grandma made, or top 10 reasons that snow sucks, or any random topic that you can think of, email below, email me, and we'll do a top 10 list. But today, I have done multiple lists with this gentleman already. We've done the greatest black comedies. We have done hip hop groups. I think we've done hip hop artists.
Yeah. We did.
We've done hip hop artists, and I don't think we've done any records yet, which is what we're doing today. But we're going to expand beyond just hip hop. Between the two of us, we could have easily just said, hey, the top 10 hip hop records, but we wanted to impress you with some stuff that some of it's going to be hip hop, but we're not just about hip hop, man. we got other tastes. We got other flavors we got to throw into the mix. So we're gonna do the top 10 records that influenced us. And I don't know about this guy's list, but I know mine is pretty eclectic and is gonna have at least one record on it that everyone's gonna be like, oh damn, I forgot about that one. Um, so we'll see. So we'll start you off. No particular order for these. I don't think I didn't put mine in any order, just by year.
Me neither. Yeah.
Really by year. They're just kind of random.
Right.
So who is
I got you.
First for your list? Give me your first artist and record.
Okay. And I know with me being a hip hop artist, you know what I mean, that's the main reason why you said that. So just even with that being said, I like whether it's on the episode or even off the episode, when you're saying when we chop it up some more, I want to know what you think about my list at the end of it. You know what I mean?
I'll let you know. I'll let you know right here when we're finished. Like,
Say no more.
I gonna hold back.
Off the top. All right. Well, so I'm gonna kick it off. You know what I'm saying? And again here too, just to even piggyback your point, because I share the same sentiment. This is in no particular order, and especially when you want to talk about what influenced me, it's a lot. So number 10. We're gonna start off with at number 10, again in no particular order. Lovers Rock by Sade.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like Sade, just in general as an artist, you know what I mean, has a very smooth, silky, sultry voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's very ambient, you know what I mean, with her music. You know what I mean? Very relaxing. Very, again, soothing, smooth. You know what I mean? So
Brain
that
music.
always,
It's brain music.
definitely, yes. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Because on top of like, you know what I'm saying, like her melodies and her voice and everything, when she's singing what she's talking about, her subject matter, you know what I'm saying, as it relates to love, you know what I mean? Like, again, like it'll get the mind moving, get the wheels turning, you know what I'm saying? But also, too, can relax you at the same time. Yes. Yes, indeed.
Makes you think like her. She has that jazz element and the ambient element. So it's not, it is pop, but it's not. She has that same sort of element that Najee has. That when you hear, you think about the arrangements because you have the saxophone and you have the other instruments that are sort of non-pop instruments, and it is smooth, but you know she kind of has that Herbie Hancock vibe. Like Herbie make you think. Like sometimes Herbie do some just out of this world shit, but then sometimes Herbie just lay down a groove, and it's just a groove. That's all it is. It ain't supposed to be anything big. It's just a groove, and that's what was cool. And Sade is one of them people, man, that I respect a lot. I don't really listen to it a lot. But a lot of respect. I know people, you know, she's somebody that people speak very highly of, and you rarely will hear anybody say, I don't like her. So
exactly, like she is like, in a sense, like you said, to say the very least, personality wise, and maybe even musically here too, in one or two instances, she reminds me a lot of like a Michael Jackson, with like you saying, with like her soft demeanor, you know what I mean, like real chill, real mild mannered. But yeah, like no, like you described everything that you said about her here perfectly, and those are all the things here too, on top of what I mentioned, that made me love her. And on the influential side, well, in life, I just love listening to her. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like she, you said, like, whenever I need to calm down or to be on a chill mode or just want to hear a feminine voice
Yeah,
speaking loving words, I will listen to her. But then, like, just like you mentioned here, having like groovy, you know what I'm saying, tunes or whatnot, and then some that's not meant to be groovy, but to make you think, but all in the same token, making it all digestible and enjoyable. That's where the musical influence kicks in. You know what I mean? Because that's what I aim to do with mine as well. So yeah. No. Yeah, so Sade Lovers Rock is number 10 for me.
awesome. The first one I had, this was one of the very first records I fell in love with, um, mainly because of my father. Listened to this thing in his semi 5 billion times. Uh, I have had more copies of this record than pretty much all the other records combined. I've literally played this record so much that it wore the record out to the point where it wore the grooves out of the vinyl.
Yeah.
That is the self-titled 1976. It's the debut Boston record. Um, that
Okay.
uh, rock and roll band and foreplay and just so many. I mean, it's considered one of the greatest debut albums of all time, and it is. And I have an affinity for this record because there's two records, both on this list from my childhood, like before 10 years old, that, like I said, I listen to them more than anything. I know these records like the back of my hand. I could sit here and not only name the song, but practically sing them from memory. Um,
Mhm.
so that's the first one is Boston's self-titled debut. So
Okay. No, that's dope as fuck for sure. For
all
sure.
right. Your second one.
The second one. Okay, so my second one, I'm going to, you know what? I ain't gonna hold you. They both still might show up on my 10. I'm saying both because they're both by the same artist. But I don't know. You know, say like it might. Say like I might just stick with the one and keep it pushing. But I will give this first one if they're saying if I do give both, I'll give this first one the nod above the other one in the sense that this is how I had even come to know about this artist. This is how I got introduced by this artist. Tales from the Crypt by Sibo. The reason why, how I got introduced to him was I even told my pops this. Um, over the summers when I would go over to my granddad's house, you know what I'm saying, to chill with my younger sister Jatavia, who would come up from Atlanta, you know what I mean, over the summer. I was sneaking our pop's room, you know what I mean, because he would have tapes underneath there, CDs,
Yep.
magazines, all type of shit.
Yep.
And I would just go in there, whatever, just to find whatever the hell I could find. You know what I mean? And he wound up and he had a copy of Sibo, Tales from the Crypt. So it's like, all right, let me go ahead and listen to this. You know what I'm saying? See what pops. You know what I'm saying? See what pops listening to. See what he talking about. And the first song that came on was 187 Dance, 187 Dance. And I'm like, oh shit, this dude is going in. This dude go crazy.
Yep.
And so I'm just listening to it. I'm listening to that. Like you said, like I'm just listening to him or whatever. I don't even know the name of the songs until later when I pull out the tape again and look at them. But what was it here? 187 Dance, Ain't No Sunshine. The freestyle that he did on the album. That whole shit from top to bottom, like you said, was just dope as hell for me and whatnot. And you said, and not only did you know what I'm saying, he influenced me in his own right, you know what I'm saying, like when it came down to like the street music, but you know what I'm saying, he also put me on to music. Well, he helped to put me on to Northern California music / the Bay. You know what I mean? Because I don't know like who was the first person from Northern California or the Bay that I listened to. But nonetheless though, you know what I mean? Once I got a hold to that, I wanted to look at everything else that was coming from that region here as well. You know what I mean? And they all helped to help to shape and mold me and broaden my horizons in their own respect here too as a result. So yeah, Sibo, Tales from the Crypt.
My second one is the second one of the ones that really influenced me. It's Bob Seger, Night Moves.
Okay.
You know, it's got Main Street, Night Moves, Old Time Rock and Roll, Kathmandu. It's basically a greatest hits record for Bob Seger at this point. Like when you go to Bob Seger's greatest hits, of the 9 songs on this record, 7 of them are on his greatest hits record. So it literally damn near is a greatest hits record.
Okay, I
I
got
still
you.
love the record. It's just nostalgic, but it's got such great songs on it. You know, who doesn't hear Old Time Rock and Roll and you know, or you know, Kathmandu. You know, I think I'm going to Kathmandu. You know, it's just
Yeah,
it's fucking just one of them songs, man. It just and his voice, he's one of the few, oddly enough, he's one of the few singers that I can sing really well correctly. Like his vocal range is my vocal range. So I can hit his notes perfectly without having to go up or down out of my range or anything. There's something about his voice that I match with him. So just to kind of give you a warning when you know, if you get me into the studio, you won't hear the Bob Seger come out. So
hey, no, I got you. I got you. That's no problem. You hear me?
uh,
Listen, like your influences are going to come out. You know what I mean? Like, shoot, I don't write a song or even record a song trying to sound like Method Man. But that's one of the people that a lot of folks say I sound like. Him and DMX. Well, shoot,
right.
you know that. But like, you know what I mean? But like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Your influences is going to show through your music. So no, I expect that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't mean it to come out, it just kind of does. So
Definitely.
um, number three for your list. Who you got?
Number 3. I'm going to give this one to Montel Jordan. This is how we do it. You know what I mean? Because like
I,
he just
I was
had the anthems. You know what I'm saying? That whole album was a banger. You know what I'm saying? Like honestly, I feel like if Montel Jordan came out before R. Kelly, I don't know if he might have been crowned the king of R&B, but he might have been more competition for R. Kelly than what he actually was. But
so
anyhow, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Okay, no, I got you. But anyhow, like yeah, like as it relates to me personally, as far as like personal influence was concerned, you know, I got that album in the summer. You know what I'm saying? Which was the perfect time to get that motherfucker because he had This Is How We Do It, Something for the Honeys. You know what I mean? All that shit or whatever like that. And then like, you know, when he sang that song Daddy's Home, you know what I'm saying? Like that hit me in a certain way. You know what I mean? And like that album is just flawless. That was a classic to me. You know what I mean? And there was a part of me while I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do creatively as a kid in retrospect, that was like, okay, what the fuck do I want to do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, long story short, I mean, like, I didn't consciously think of that, but I went through a lot of shit. Long story short, I ran through a lot of creative outlets.
Right.
And when music hit my head, a part of me did want to sing, but I know I need more vocal lessons for that. You know what I'm saying? And I was already rapping by this time. That shit came out in 95. I was already rapping by then. So I just stuck with rap. But I love listening to him because just even listening to what he was talking about on that album and even the other music and then even the other singles and projects he came out with, I was running out of breath. you know, it gave me more inspiration for what I was trying to do here myself. You know what I mean? You know, so hey, yeah, like you know, he was definitely a great creative influence, and just even hearing like the songs on the album here, well, he had some songs on the album that touched me personally also. So yeah, Montel Jordan, this is how we do it.
There were two records within a few years of each other that of this style that hit me. One was Montel, but the other
Mhm.
one, the major one, and it's not on my list, but it almost made my list, was They Never Saw Me Coming by TQ.
Oh
When
yes.
he did West Side, I was like,
West Side till I die. You go ahead.
that was it was like you had never heard no shit like that before. Because like
Right.
most of the R&B singers, they were on some love shit. And TQ was on like some Dre and Snoop shit.
Yeah,
Like
it came
TQ
out
took
banging. Go ahead.
it's like TQ took an Ice Cube record and made it an R&B record. You know,
Yes.
so it was like, oh damn, that's that's like a R&B ballad, but it's hard as fuck. Like he talking about gangsters and thugs and like he's singing a love song about gangsters. Like damn, like that was
Right.
just a different thing. And when I heard it, I was like, I like that, man. Like that was that was music you could ride to, bro. Like that was like I was in Michigan at the time and just thinking to myself like, damn, I wish I lived in Cali because I'd be riding down Sunstrand like just leaning
Right.
a bitch, man. Like,
Right.
but yeah, I get the Montel. Montel was a cool record. It had a swing to it that um it had a
Hey, no,
swing to
but I like that TQ though. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
TQ, like, you described that perfectly. And like you even said about like you said just riding through Cali with that shit. Listen, I was engaged to a girl in Compton when I was like what, like 17, 18? No, 18 for sure, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because she was a little older than me. But you know what I'm saying, and she wasn't trying to fuck with no minors. But anyway, you said when I was 18, I was engaged to, you know what I'm saying, a girl out in Compton or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? And she, if I had that album or not, and if we got married like we had planned to do, like initially, shit, you know what I'm saying? I can easily see us, you know what I'm saying, just sliding all through Compton on Gladys, you know what I'm saying? Just bumping TQ. You know what I mean? So yeah. Yo.
My
No.
third
Yeah,
one,
TQ is a great one. Go ahead.
my third one is gonna be one that people are gonna y'all are gonna laugh. Some of y'all are gonna say, damn, I totally forgot about that record.
Oh no, was you asking me for my third one already?
Yeah, that Montel was your third one.
Oh, it was my third one. Okay, say no more. My bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So this third one, this is one I was introduced to when my dad sent me to live with my mother in California. Uh, I've told you the story about the next door guy who, taught me to play chess, pretty much saved my life, taught me about Malcolm X and whatnot. Um, this gentleman upstairs in his bedroom, he had a wall-to-wall collection of records, vinyl records. And it went from
Mhm.
one side of the room to the other side of the room, all the way up to the thing. He had shelves that was just vinyl records. So I would go over there, I'd go through his vinyl records. And this was one of the records I pulled out one day. It just looked cool. So I slapped it on the turntable and immediately thought I was going to be the greatest break dancer in the world with this record. Um, it is Midnight Star, No Parking on the Dance Floor.
Mhm. Yeah, hey, no, I got you. I got you.
It had, of course, it had No Parking on the Dance Floor, but it also had Freakazoid on it and a few others. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with this record or this group, they were funk, but they were sort of breakdance oriented. Had that Roger and Zapp type of vibe, that band. So the fact that no hip hop artists have ever really sampled this record is sort of a fucking crime. There are
Definitely.
songs on this record that I guarantee you if me and this gentleman get in the studio, we gonna cook up a new song using a sample of two of these songs because
Yes,
man,
sir.
it this record slaps. Okay, like it's a record from 1983. Um, but this record slaps. Like, it's got that funk vibe, but it's got that R&B vibe. It's got that b-boy breakdance vibe. Um,
Yes.
it was just a record. It was so different, and I had never heard anything like it. And
Wow.
I think I listened to. He had this massive collection. He had Lakeside. He had George Clinton, Parliament, Funkadelic. He had Dat Band and Roger and Zapp, and he had Bobby Blue Bland, and I mean he had all of the great artists, the funk, all the disco records, all that type of stuff. But this was the record that, for some reason, man, it just, you know, it was something about this record, man. It had a
Yeah.
bounce to it. It was a cool record, man. And I tell people about this record, and the people that know kind of look at me like, damn, white boy knows about Midnight Star. And I was like, it's a fun record, man. You know,
Yeah. Hey, listen, they don't know about you. You the music guy for a reason.
I mean,
Listen,
like,
I'm gonna even give this one to you though. I'm gonna give this one to you, bro. I'm gonna give a personal one to you because I seen something here from one of my homies. You know what I'm saying? That left a comment. You know what I'm saying on a post that you was even replying to of theirs. I forget exactly what it was, but I know uh Chris Essex. Chris Essex,
yeah,
ESX.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He made a post about like you said like something. Like you said, like I know it was music related for sure, for sure.
It was
But
the
like
Bionic Jive
I
one.
know you replied to it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was the Bionic Jive one, and he's like, "Of course you would know." And I was
Right.
like,
Yep. That's what I was getting at. Yep. Of course you would know. I'm like, yeah, Chris. Yeah. Yeah, you done fucked around and found out about the music god. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You in his temple.
yeah,
Yeah,
Bionic
like,
Jive
but
is a
Chris,
great band, man. But they are a band that they
yeah.
came out at the same time as Prophets of Rage.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of, you know, it was really bad timing on their part because you can't
Right.
put a record out the same time as Chuck D and Tom Morello together. You know,
True.
like you got Chuck D and Rage Against the Machine together,
Oh, it's a
and
wrap.
trying to put a record out that essentially
That's like
sounds.
Ice Cube and Corn. Go ahead.
But I'm just saying, like Bionic Jive did a record that was sort of the opposite side of the coin over at Prophets of Rage.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
was like if it had come out 6 months later, 6 months earlier, but they just got lost in
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, you know, I mean, you know, one
True.
thing I learned early on, and this will go come into play here in a few, you don't ever try to go head to head with Chuck D releasing a record. Like that's just
Oh, no. Goodness.
yeah, it's just dumb.
Goodness. Listen, you might think that you're gonna have the upper hand because he's talking political talk and he's a conscious rapper, but nah, Chuck D ain't that one to play with. Nah.
It's just it ain't even about him intentionally doing it. It's Chuck D. That's a big part,
Exactly.
and that's a
Yeah, some
massive.
people you just don't play with like that.
Yeah,
Go
like
ahead.
it's look. The people who listen to Public Enemy are the same ones who listen to Wu Tang. That's an army.
Right.
Like when those records come out, that's what people are going to be
Mm-hmm.
focused on. They ain't trying to think about a new band. They ain't trying to think about a band just starting out. No,
No, they
Wu Tang.
release something, get the fuck out the way. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it was just really bad timing on Bionic Jive's part. They're a really great band, as powerful as what Public Enemy did with Anthrax, because that's really kind of what it
Whoa,
sounds like what Prophets of Rage did. Um,
whoa.
Bad decision by the record label to drop it when they did. So, anyways, we ain't gonna concentrate on that. Number 4 for you.
Number 4 for me. I said that I was gonna make sure that this top 10 list Well, I mean, like, shoot, even this list here now that I'm coming up with ain't in no particular order, but I said I was gonna make sure that the hip hop influences would, you know what I'm saying, will make their mark here. The ones that I feel like really need to be made here will need to be put on the list. You know what I mean? Because they made that much of an impact on me. And number four, just to make sure I keep that in mind while it's still fresh on my mind, I'm gonna do one of them right now for the number four. East 1999 Eternal by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Now, I loved Creeping on the Come Up. Now, 94 was when I decided to become a rapper because so much shit was coming out on the music side. And then I was watching, like you said, my folks in my neighborhood and in school rapping and everything, to where I said, like, yo, I can do this too. And that's when I became a rapper. But I said that to say this because, you know, Bone Thugs and Harmony came out with Creeping on the Come Up in 1994. They came out with East 1999 and 95. But as much as I loved Creeping on the Come Up, East 1999 was that one for me. That's my favorite Bone album of all time, period. Even over Art of War, BTNH Resurrection, all that shit.
Yep.
Because like it really felt like, okay, Creeping on the Come Up felt like Bone got their foot in the door with Ruthless finally.
Right.
East 1999 was like, okay, we here. Let us really show let us really show our asses to y'all.
Right.
Because y'all have not seen our final form. And like just everything, like, you know, the introduction, Eternal, Down 71 The Getaway, Mo Murder, motherfucking Buddha Lovers, shit, Die, Land of the Heartless. Everything just rung off to me. Even though I couldn't understand everything that they were saying at that time, because I was a kid. But from what I could understand and what rung off to me, I'm like, oh no. That one. This is the classic. I like Creeping on the Come Up, but East 1999, this is the classic. And if I decide to pick up the chopping style, this is what I want to do. I didn't even know it was chopping at that time, but if I said to myself at that time when I was 11, like if I even wanted to try to rap fast, I want to try to rap fast like them. That's what I said. You know what I mean? But yeah, East 1999 Eternal from Bone Thugs and Harmony, that was a major influence on my life. So I'm gonna put that at number 4.
So I'm glad you did that one. Because I am gonna see your Bone Thugs.
Okay.
And I'm gonna raise you with my number 4, Scarface the Diary. Came out almost exactly the same time. And that changed hip hop for me. Like hip hop up to that point was kind of what it was. You know, I listened to this, that, and the other thing. But Scarface on that record, man, when he said, "Never seen a man die till I seen a man cry."
Never seen a man cry, yeah.
That shit was, and his voice, dude, it was so hard. It was just, it had, to this day, Scar has an authenticity to his voice. Like some rappers, you hear him and you know, okay, they trying too hard. Or whatever, or they're just in the studio. Scarface, bro, like, he just sounds like he means every goddamn word that comes out of his mouth. Like, there's no fake. Like, it just, when Scar says something, it's so authoritative. It's so final, man. Like I ain't saying this shit, say it. Like, I'm saying this shit because I'm giving you the street. And whether it's this one, whether it's deep rooted, whatever, man, it's like, you know, just something about Scar, man, that just, I fucking love Scar. Like, Scar is if I was going to dedicate myself to being a hip hop artist and really just nosedive into it, Scar would be the
Mhm.
person that I would absolutely want to be. You know,
I
like,
got you.
if you were going to be a chopper, you'd want to be this. If I was going to be a rapper, I want to be like Scar. You know, I ain't trying to rap fast. I ain't trying to be all super lyrical. I want to tell a story. I want a motherfucker to know when I speak these words, this shit is gospel. You know, like I'm telling you this because I saw this shit firsthand. You know, it ain't no third hand account. Like,
Oh no, I already know. You ain't gotta convince me of shit. I know.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Nah, I got you. Yeah, nah, I got you. Yes, sir.
you know, and the diary is the same way, man. Like, there's so many songs on the diary that, you know, man, it's a hard ass record. It's a hard
What's
ass
up?
record.
What's up?
Um,
What's up?
so that's my number four. Is you know,
Okay.
number five.
All right. Now, I was gonna hold off on this until we got towards the end of the list, but since my list ain't in no particular order anyway, and you talk that poker talk to me, you said, I see your bone, but I raise you Scarface.
Right.
I see your Scarface. Huh?
So I see your Scarface and raise you.
Yeah, all right, yeah, some of that, yeah. I see your Scarface, my diary, and that's a dope ass album to raise me with. You know what I'm saying? So hey, yeah, like no qualms with that at all. Like, no, that's dope. That was a dope ass raise. But I see your Scarface, my diary, and I raise you Rakim the 18th letter.
I had a feeling
This is
that
the
one.
album. Yeah, like hey, we done already had multiple conversations on who we feel
This
is the
was
GOAT
one.
personal.
This was one I
Uh,
hadn't heard until you kind of talked about it, and then I went back and listened to it and was kind of like,
right.
all right, you know what? Because Rakim was one of them dudes that, you know, I heard about him all the time, but I had never really listened to him. Like he was just
No,
sort of that guy that people idolized, but I didn't know all that about. But then I went back and listened to him, and then it was kind of like, okay, now I get it. I see why people, you know,
no. And I'll even and just to even add to that point, to even add to it, because like we kind of got introduced to him in the same way because when I decided that I wanted to be a rapper and I really wanted to just like dive head first into this hip hop shit, Rakim got brought up to me a hell of a lot here too. And while I did know of him and I respected him as that guy that caused for everybody else, you know what I'm saying, to step their game up, you know what I'm saying, with the flow, the cadence, and the lyrics and the rhyme schemes and all that.
yep,
While I did respect him as that one, I I still wasn't an avid fan of him yet. I respected I Ain't No Joke. I respected Paid in Full. I respected Microphone Fiend. I respected all of the songs, you know what I'm saying, that he put out in the late 80s, early 90s. But I wasn't a fan of his yet, an avid fan as of yet. You know what I'm saying, let alone even like, you know, even calling him the GOAT until the 18th letter came out. When the 18th letter came out, and it was, and even more specifically, when I heard the saga begins, I'm like, yep, this is the GOAT.
yep,
This is the one. He is the one for me. You know what I'm saying? Like whoever else feels is the greatest of all time. Now, of course, we wasn't saying GOAT, you know what I'm saying, like 94, 95,
right.
96. But you saying whoever, you saying whoever feels like whoever else is the greatest of all time, I got you. I feel you. As long as you ain't saying no super whack rapper, anyways. You know what I mean? But Rakim is
Yeah.
that one for me. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, but like you're saying, like the mo and just to even, well, I'm not even gonna go through it again because I know I had mentioned what made me like Rakim to the extent that I did. You know, so now when me, you, and Dynasty had an
Mhm.
earlier episode, so this would just be me regurgitating the same points, but you know, what I'm saying, but the 18th letter. was that one that made me say that Rakim is the greatest of all time, and that was a major influence on me when I finally heard it.
Yeah. I still stand by my GOAT being KSR. You know what? I as I said before, I can completely see why somebody would have Rakim at number one as well. Like, these are two dudes that rap on a level, even to this day in their 60s, rap on a level that I don't think any of these young cats, short of a handful, can even understand.
Exactly.
Like you're KSR1 out here, man. When he did that, he's like, I'm digitally underground, like Shock G. And then he stopped, paused, and said, and I said, I'm digitally underground. Like, this motherfucker wanted you to know he said it twice. Like, let me repeat myself. That was like, oh, that was hard.
And I'm even like, piggyback on your point here too, just to even give KRS-One this nod here too, knowing that he's your GOAT. And I fuck with him the long way too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just to even give another nod on top of what you just got finished mentioning. One of my favorite albums from KRS-One is I Got Next. That's one of them. Criminal Minded is another one, but we're gonna stick to I Got Next because that's alluding to the point that I'm about to make here, or what I'm about to give ready to mention to you. The first single, the lead single off that album was Step Into a World, Rapture's Delight. Step into a world where hip hop is me, where MCs and DJs. I ain't gonna sing the rest. Fuck all that. But
I get it.
But he said something on the first verse. You know what I'm saying? The words like, yeah, nah, talk that shit. He was like, what was it here? If a dope lyrical flow was a must, you got to run with the name you can quickly trust. I ain't saying I'm number one. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm lied. I'm sorry, I lied. I'm number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm like, all right, talk that shit then, Chris. Talk that shit.
I'm saying it was,
so
he's always saying something, man. Like it's just like, damn. And you got to rewind it and be like, did he really just say that shit? Because it's so cocky, but at the same time, you're like, okay, you back it up. So I ain't gonna disagree with it,
Hey, off the top, you know what I'm saying? And then he had that song called The MC on that same album. And that's one of my favorite ones because you over here talking to me as an MC in training. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gave me my lessons, teacher. Thank you. So, so I don't never have no problems with nobody saying KRS-One is the GOAT. I have no problems with that.
Number 5 for me was a record right after I came home from California. Right after I came home from California, it came out and immediately took over the world, blew up. Singles everywhere, videos everywhere, had a movie that went with it. Oddly enough, still to this day, I have not seen the movie, but it is one of my most beloved records. And I will just suffice by saying, dearly beloved, we are gathered here to talk about this thing called life.
Yes.
Purple Rain by Prince, man, because
hey, I got you.
That record, man, was sort of a game changer to me in the sense that I grew up listening to everything. And I always had the mindset of why didn't somebody record like that? Like, you can't possibly just listen to one kind of music, can you? Because it wasn't logical. So why would you only be a country artist? Why would you only be a hip hop artist? Why would you only be a pop singer? Why would you only do that? And then Purple Rain come along, and Prince basically said, I'm gonna record an R&B song, a rock song, a hard rock song, a rap song, and a synthwave song all on the same fucking record. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. And that was the record to me that was like, okay, you know what? This dude is doing what I would do and what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a record out and it's gonna have everybody's head fucked up because you ain't gonna know what the fuck is coming next. I don't know if you're gonna hear Scarface, Bob Seger, Blue October, or fucking Green Day. I'm gonna just let you.
Right.
All of that shit is gonna be on my record in some form.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna be all over the Billboard charts. Shit, in every genre.
I ain't trying to win no Grammys. I ain't trying to win no awards. I ain't trying to win no fans, honestly. I'm gonna tell the story of my life the same way I'm telling it here, and telling you that look, at certain points in my life, I was introduced to this music. I was introduced to this music. I was introduced to this music. This is my influence. This is my love, and we're gonna throw this. We're gonna throw this shit into the mix, and we're gonna make like a big ass fucking rock and roll stew. Like, like it's just carrots, taters, green bean, some sweet peas, some corn. We're gonna go all the shit in there. Yeah, number 5 for me is Prince Purple Rain because, again, a record I still listen to 2 to 3 times a month to rock out to. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 6 for you.
Number 6. This is I'm only gonna chalk this up to irony that you said Prince. Because I already had this. Yeah, I already had this album in my mind. Now I already know with the Rakim joint, you know what I'm saying? Like, I already had that in my mind too, but I brought it out earlier, you said, because of the polka talk, like I said, but but no, this is just sheer irony. We're alive. Number 6 for me is gonna be History by Michael Jackson. And yeah. But I've always respected Michael Jackson as like the king of pop and everything. Now he was always kind of, I'm not gonna say awkward, but you know what I mean? Like he was always an enigma of sorts to me.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about him as a person. But musically speaking, History was my personal favorite from him. You know what I mean? Earth Song. I think You Are Not Alone was on there, if I remember correctly. Yep. Okay, cool. Yep. You Are Not Alone. Earth Song. That was my shit, especially that video for Earth Song. Scream with Janet Jackson. I lost my damn mind. When Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson did Scream, and then Michael Jackson said, "Stop fucking with me." This boy said, "Stop fucking with me." I'm like, "Yo, who we sliding on, Mike? Is it like who we gotta go see about?" You know what I mean? Like, hey, but like, you know what I mean? But no, like when you can make a double album. And it's an exceptional double album. You got folks right now you got folks or whatnot that couldn't even make one solid album. You got motherfuckers that can barely make EPs right now. But to be able to make a double album, and that ain't just for Michael Jackson. That's for Tupac. That's for Biggie. That's for 8 Ball. That's for Bone Thugs and Harmony. Again, Art of War. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's for anybody that was able to create a double album. You know what I mean? And have us rocking out to it with no skips, nearly. Almost no skips or none at all. You deserve to be in the upper echelon, in the pantheon of artists. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so no, History was that one for me here too, as far as like influences is concerned, because personally I just loved it, and Michael Jackson just spoke to me the strongest on that album. But musically speaking as well here too, I had even just said to myself, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, some time ago or whatever like that, like, you know what I'm saying, once I come out with Still Dante, which will be after Lover Lyricist Lunatic, which I'm working on right now, shameless plug, I was going to make a double album called Mind Tripping after Still Dante. You know what I mean? And really, like, you know, just even with me doing, and just even with me coming up with that was a direct result of me thinking back to Michael Jackson, Tupac, Biggie, and everybody else that I knew that came out with double albums, you know what I'm saying, that people enjoyed, you know what I mean? And I want to make sure I make my contribution to that here too. So with that being said, big ass influence, I got to give him that. Michael Jackson history.
It's funny you say that because number 6 on my list is Thriller by Michael Jackson. So,
Okay.
um, same story. I came home from Cali. Um, Thriller came out. I think the year before Purple Rain. So Thriller was already out, but it's still, you know, massive traction. Billie
Mhm.
Jean, PYT, and you know, just Beat It, and it's just so many damn songs off of Thriller. And you know, Thriller was a record that was groundbreaking, not only in its sound, but the way it was recorded. You know, the way
Yeah.
they put microphones, where they put the microphones, how they went about the technique. Quincy Jones started a revolution in a new revolution in recordial audio. And you know, one of the things I learned in one of my classes was about this record and about how Quincy went about, you know, how he placed the microphones in different places than normal, how he used different microphones, vintage microphones as opposed to modern ones, and different things to get certain sounds. Um, so 6 for me is Thriller because, you know, it kind of was the record that, I mean, Michael went on to do major things, but this was kind of where he catapulted himself from being the child singer to the adult singer. Um,
Right.
um, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he did Off the Wall before that, but he was still kind of like 17, 18 at that time. You know, this was the first record where he was an actual adult and could sing about kind of whatever. And, you know, I mean, it went big. I, one of my biggest memories is coming back. The second day I was back in school, they had a talent show. And I think we sat through about 314 versions of Billie Jean and Thriller. For
Damn.
people doing dances, people lip syncing to it, people actually trying to sing it, people trying to play guitar to it, and it was like, all right, we get it. Y'all like Michael Jackson, you know, not the only artist on the fucking pop charts right now, you know, but everybody wanted to be Michael Jackson, so I get it.
Yeah.
You couldn't get away from it, whether it was in California, whether it was in the Midwest, man. It was all
Oh,
same
yeah.
flavor, you know. So
Oh, yeah. Oh no, it was definitely gonna be that way, you know what I'm saying, in the Midwest, because you know he from Gary, you
right.
know. So, hey,
All
for
right. Number
sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 7.
Number 7, again, I gotta make sure I'm a hip hop artist. I gotta make sure these albums is in here. Method Man to Cal. That, oh my motherfucking goodness. I was already a fan of Method Man after You're All I Need with Mary J. Blige. You know, the Razor Sharp remix, the RZA mix. The Bad Boy shit, that was alright. But the RZA mix, when Meth and Mary brought that shit back to the Wu-Tang. That was like, okay, like, no, this shit, dun, 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 you're all, that was my shit. But then, like, I wound up buying that single, and what made me even a bigger fan was the B-side with the blood clot. All I hear is gunshots. Can I touch something with the blood clot? With the cow, make it happen. You know my fucking style. Fuck the rapping. We can take it back to 85 if you want to. All right, listen, because I rap that whole damn song. But yeah, like after that you say like buying that single and hearing like the lead that single and that B side, that's what made me buy Tikal. You know what I'm saying? Then Meth vs. Chef with Raekwon. You know what I'm saying? Release your death. Bring the pain. You know what I mean? The RZA, the Jizza, old dirty bastard, da da da. You know what I mean? Like, like everything that Method Man spit on that album and everything that he spit, period. Like you said, first of all, the flow is butter as fuck. He got wordplay out the wazoo. You know what I mean? And like his rhyme schemes is crazy. You know what I mean? And he make it sound effortless. He makes it sound effortless. Like, yo, listen, I'm gonna just hop on this mic and talk to y'all. You know what I'm saying? And just rock with me. And we rock with him because it's dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, like ever since I've heard Method Man. Now, I don't know if this might potentially like throw you off or whatnot, but if it does, let me know. But you're saying like, I have Rakim as my personal GOAT, greatest of all time. But like you're saying, like Method Man is my personal favorite rapper.
Right.
You say you could be, you say like you can be my favorite rapper, and I still don't acknowledge you as the GOAT. You know what I mean? So yeah, like
that's exactly because my favorite rapper is Vinny Paz, but I ain't gonna call Vinny great. You know, I like Vinny because Vinny just has that fucking nastiness to his voice, man. That Vinny's just fucking crazy. But I ain't gonna put him up there with KSR1 when it comes to lyricism and longevity and everything.
Exactly.
I don't think Vinny himself would put himself up there with KSR1.
Yeah. So, okay. So you get it. You're saying like, that's exactly my mind frame. Yep. Go ahead.
Because I'll tell you right now, like if I'm in the car and you hand me the aux cord and what do you want to hear? Because I can throw everything on. I can throw on country, Americana, bluegrass, hip hop, jazz, blues, reggae. What do you want to hear? Well, I want to hear hip hop. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm going to Vinny Paz, Army of the Pharaohs, or Jedi Mind Trick. One of the three. Because that variety, it's that boom bap style, but it's big, it's bombastic, it's dark, it's grimy and gritty. Nems is another one. Nems is at the top of somebody trying to call your phone.
They're gonna shout out CM. Shout out CM from the Pussy Talks podcast. She was the one that tried to call me just now, but hey, I'm in the middle of a pod. I'm over here. You're saying, I'm with the music guy right now. I'll holler at you in a few, CL.
Anywho, Nems is another one. You know my love of Nems because Nems talks that shit all the fucking time. Like Nems, you never know what will come out of that man's mouth. And it's always some off center shit that you're just like, damn, he just say that like that woo, like I was bold, man. Like, that Gunter song, I listened to that song and I just laughed my ass off, man. He's like, like calling her some Green Bay Packer titties. Like damn, like you like titties and the Green Bay Packers in the same sentence, bro. Like shit. So Method Man, awesome choice. I'm gonna take it back just a hair. Same area, same vibe. We talked him out a little earlier, and we're just gonna say bass. How low can you go? Death Row, what a brother. Once again, back is the incredible Rhyme Animal, the incredible D, Public Enemy #1. I got his hold his back, man. That was a record. When it came out, man, it was just so It was so bombastic. Like it was, like I had been turned on to Ice-T the year before. Um, so I had just started seriously getting into hip hop more than
Uh-huh.
like what was on TV or in mainstream. Um, when that record come out, man, it was like a shotgun blast. It was Chuck's voice, and you had Flavor Flav, who was clowning, but still you could tell that motherfucker knew his shit. Um, the scratches and the beats, everything about that record was like, even as a metalhead, it was like if there was any hip hop record that a metal fan was gonna listen to, it was this record.
I
And then
feel
like
it.
2 years later, Anthrax comes along and says, we're gonna remix this shit and make a metal version of it. And then it was like, oh yeah, that is what metal was missing, man. Like that was, sure, Run DMC had done that song with Aerosmith, but that was tongue in cheek. That was for fun. Like this, when Anthrax and Public Enemy came together, that was like a
Ooh.
fist in the face, man. That was like, we gonna let all you bitches know that there's no more rules, man. Like this shit, nothing was off limits at that point. Um,
Sure.
so
And
you know, um, but still to this day,
hey,
like I said, when you hear Chuck's voice, man, there's no mistaking Chuck D's voice, and you know
back again, back again. It's back again. What's this? The incredible. Yeah, no, for sure. Go ahead.
that's what I'm saying. Though it's like Chuck, whether it's Prophets of Rage, whether it's a solo stuff, whether it's a Public Enemy stuff, Chuck has not lost even a hundredth of a step, man. Like that man is still deadly as a razor, you know, like just cut you quick. Um, so yeah, that's my number 7 is Public Enemy. It takes a nation of millions because you know I can't think hip hop wise. I can't think of a much more influential record for not just conscious rap, but for East Coast rap. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
you know, like I don't know a motherfucker who wasn't influenced in some way by what Public Enemy did on that record for
True.
East Coast, for boom bap, for conscious. I mean, there were so many ways that record altered the path of where hip hop went afterwards.
True
Um,
enough.
so number 8 for you.
All right, number 8. You know what? I said I was gonna make sure like these hip hop albums made the list, so it's gonna be straight hip hop. You know, what I'm saying going forward from the saying for the remainder of this list because I ain't got too many other ones to name. You know what I mean? But that's always the wild part about talking about influential music because there's so much music out there that can influence you. But hey, we gonna do what we do here for this episode. Number 8. I will say, I already said Method Man to Cal. Um, Let me see here. What was the other one that I had in mind already? Oh no, I said that I might have 2 Sibo albums on this top 10. And you know
Mhm.
what? I'm gonna have 2 Sibo albums on this top 10 till my casket drops. Till my casket drops. That is my absolute favorite album from Sibo because I don't know what all I know some of the stuff that was going on around the time that he made that album, but yo,
Well,
it's just sometimes to where it's like, yo, hi,
one of his many stints in prison.
definitely. Definitely, you know what I'm saying? Especially, you know what I'm saying, for going down for, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, for what he rapped. Like, what the fuck? But you know what? Since you mentioned that, I'm gonna take a small sidebar here in respect to that and say that, like, you know what I'm saying, after that shit happened, you know what I'm saying, where he got locked up, you know what I'm saying, for the lyrics on the record, you know what I'm saying, for the lyrics on Till My Casket Drops. This motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, he came back, you know what I'm saying, he came out with the final chapter. And I know why he put it out and I know why he couldn't rap the way that he normally does. But that shit fucked with me so damn hard. It's like, nah, Bolo, nah, this ain't you, Brody. I know why it's happening, but this ain't you. And then he came out with Enemy of the State right after that. I'm like, that's the Sibo I know. That's that nigga. Yes. Yeah, fuck Pete Wilson. Fuck them. Fuck them cops. Fuck all of them. You know what I mean? Like, I was riding with him that whole album because I was happy to hear the Sibo that I was a fan of, that I come to know and love. You know what I mean? But anyway, till my casket drops. That's like that one, like he went all the way in from beginning to from I'm a Rider to 357, the last album, the last song on the album. Like from top to bottom, it was no. It ain't but so many albums I can say is like a legit no skip album. That was one of them for me. You know, he really like just. It really felt like, you know what I'm saying, like he just had to, like, you know what I'm saying, get some shit off of his motherfucking chest.
Right.
He had to, like, you know what I'm saying, bark at some motherfuckers, probably ride on some motherfuckers. I don't know. You know what I'm saying, like everything as it relates to Till My Casket Drops. But that was the album that he said, like, no, you know what? No, I'm sticking my motherfucking chest out. And y'all gonna know what it is about this mob. You know what I mean? And I was with him the whole way through. You know what I mean? Because, hey, you know, from Tales from the Crypt on up, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was a fan of him, you know what I mean? And hey, yeah, no, that one, like as much, and even as much as I love Tales from the Crypt, I think that Till My Casket Drops is his best album.
Yeah.
I think that one is his best album. Before, I don't give a fuck what came out before or after. I think that's his best album. So Sibo Till My Casket Drops, number 8.
Cool. Number 8 on my list is one that I don't know if a lot of people would have this on their list. I do, mainly for the same reason as the Prince record. You spoke about the double records. This was a double LP, had like 20, it was 29 songs between the two records.
Okay.
The Clash, London Calling.
Hey.
They came out with this record, and this was a middle finger to their record label. Joe Strummer wanted to make a record with all of his influences, and the record label said, "No, you're a punk band." And Strummer said, "I'm not a punk artist. I'm a musician." The label said, "Well, The Clash performs punk music." And Joe Strummer went into the studio and recorded 30 songs that were reggae, punk, ska, rockabilly, oldies. One was an Elvis song. One was by Jerry Lee Lewis. So they did a 30 song double record. That was all of Joe Strummer's influences. Everything from Bob Marley sounding to Green Day sounding to, you know, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis. There was one that was sort of a doo-wop style that really didn't have all that much music to it. It was just them singing. It, again, was a record when I heard it and thought, this is how I'm going to record a record. This is what I would do as a musician. Everything that I love, regardless of genre, regardless of boundaries, regardless of being told you can't do that, I'm going to do it just to spite you and to prove that I can. You know, like, if you look at my music collection, that's what my shit is going to sound like. Like, you know, like right here, I got Nems on one hand, I got Blue October on the other, I got Colt Ford. Oh, well.
Hey.
No, Disarm right here. Colt Ford's right there. Got fucking Corrosion of Conformity right here. So, you know, I got hip hop, alternative, country, and punk all on one fucking arm. So,
hey,
you know,
we're alive.
that's The Clash for me was, and before their deaths, they continued to just kick down doors and refuse to be labeled by a genre. They just
Yes,
did what they
indeed.
wanted to do and loved, and that's what I love about the Clash. They weren't great singers. They really weren't great musicians in the truest sense, but their shit was loud and abrasive, and it was all about saying fuck the police and fuck authority, and um, you know, and the plus side, Ice-T has been asked in interviews what were some of his most influential records, and this is the first record that Ice-T always names is The Clash, because for the same reason. He said, as a black kid growing up in South Central, I mostly only heard R&B and hip hop, and when I heard The Clash, he said I fell in love. So that in
Hey,
and of itself is enough to make me want to hear the record. Because hey, if Ice-T loves it, I got to hear the shit. So, um,
hey, for sure.
So number 9 for you.
Number 9. What? I ain't got but 2 more albums to drop on the influential list, man. It's so fucked up because there's so many others.
Yeah,
Shit. Number 9. You know what? I said it was in no particular order anyway. And I also said that there were a lot more albums that influenced me. So that's already out there to the general public, so they know this. With that being said, I'm going to release myself of the stress of trying to figure out 2 more albums since all of this has already been put on the table and people know this. With that being said, The Big Picture by Big L, the
okay,
posthumous album from Big L. Big L was a dope ass lyricist.
right,
He was one of the punchline artists that one is and that further inspired me to get into the wordplay, the metaphors, punchlines, rhyme schemes, lyricism. All the forms of lyricism out there. He helped to inspire me to do that. Um, yeah, like he was the bachelor, he was the hustler, he was the gangster, he was the lyricist, he was the purist.
right.
He has so much to him. You couldn't put him in any one box. And that's one thing that's one major thing I respected about him, and that's how I wanted, that's how I wanted to be here as an artist, as an artist and as a person myself, tongue tied. But yeah, so just even with that, like and even knowing that he decided to make his own launch his own label, and put that out there. This motherfucker, he traded bars with Big Daddy Kane.
Right.
Now Rakim is my goat, but I also know that Rakim wasn't all too big on punchlines like that. He wasn't a punchline artist.
Right.
He was dope with the lyricism. Every other aspect of lyricism, he killed, but he wasn't a punchline artist. That was Big Daddy Kane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's what I liked about Big Daddy Kane. I still put Rakim over him, but I still loved him for that. Because that was another thing here too that I wanted to exercise here myself as a lyricist. Because that once I decided I wanted to get into rap, I decided like, hey, what kind of rapper you want to be? I'm a lyricist. You know what I mean? So like, shit, I respect that form of lyricism from Big Daddy Kane, but I got Rakim a little bit higher than him. Anyhow, all that basically being said to say, like, just the fact that Big L was able to hold his own
Mm-hmm.
with such a legend and pioneer that came before him. I put him a little up higher on the list, when it came down to artists and everything like that. He ain't on the Mount Rushmore for me, but he's definitely up there, and like amongst the top 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, like he was one of those ones where it's like, you know what I'm saying, especially during my own developmental stages as an artist. It was like, hey, nah, he's spitting that shit. And that's the kind of shit I want to spit my damn self. So yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and see how he's crafting this, how you know saying, how he's formulating these bars. You know what I'm saying? Like how he's coming up with these rhyme schemes, why he is saying how and why he's flowing the way he is. Da, da, da. Yeah, so no, he's definitely another one of the influential people in my life. So Big L, the big picture. Number
I
8.
think Big L has sort of the same problem per se that Biggie has. You know, when you truly judge them, you put them in that greatest category, but you also have to weigh it with the fact that they only did the 1 or 2 records. So
Exactly.
it's a what if. Yeah, they would have been bigger and greater, but they also really only did that such a limited thing that you can't judge them the same way you judge a Jay-Z or a Nas or a Rakim who has, you know, a 20, 25 year history.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, no, and that's the unfortunate thing about Big L and Biggie, because like we know why they didn't have too many albums out, but nonetheless, though, just sticking to the results of everything, they still only got but so much.
Yeah.
No,
Same
so I
with
feel
Pun.
it.
You know, Pun had the
Yeah.
same. Um, so number 9 for me. You know I
Okay,
ain't gonna
Pink
have
Floyd.
a list.
Okay, okay.
You know I ain't gonna have a list without it. It's not Dark Side of the Moon. Um, it's Pink Floyd The Wall. It's you know it's a record that it's a record. It's a movie. It's a book. It you know it's to this
Mm-hmm.
day been released in probably 50 different versions. Um, one of my funniest concert experiences is related to this record. We won't go into that because we don't have an hour for me to tell the story. Uh, but let's just say it's the one and only time that I ever did drugs. Um, um, it's just it's Pink Floyd The Wall. It's what made me a Pink Floyd fan. It's what sort of kept me as a Pink Floyd fan, and you know it truly is one of the great rock records and one of the earliest examples of a concept record or you know a record that is based on an actual story, not just a bunch of songs. um you know it came out at a time when concept records
Wasn't
weren't
like a big thing, right?
weren't a big thing because labels wanted radio singles, and concept records generally didn't have those because you had to tell a story song by song by song, and there was a character flow. The character from song 1 was also in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So every once in a while, you know, you would get something like Tommy from The Who that had Pinball
Mm-hmm.
Wizard on it, that it did have that single while still taking part of the concept, but concept records weren't radio friendly. So, um, you know, for example, Queen has dozens and dozens of popular records and singles, but Night at the Opera has no singles because it's a concept record and it wasn't written to have any singles. It was concept record that Freddie wanted to tell a story of the White Queen. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was about the White Queen and the Black Knight, and it wasn't supposed to be radio friendly, and it's not. Like very, it's brain music again. You know, it's shit you got to think about. Um,
All right.
that's my number 9. Number 10, final one.
The final one. Okay. The final one. Uh, the egotistical side of me
Uh-oh.
wants the egotistical side of me wants to name an Excursion album, but I'm not about to do that. Cause no, that'll just no, that'll just be me ego tripping too hard.
Your list, man.
This is also the truth, but no, I ain't about to do that. That'd be too arrogant even for me. Um, I'm gonna say Nas Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? Because Nas, with that album, first of all, anybody that can come out with a classic out the gate, that's nobody to play with,
Right.
first and foremost. So I heavily respected him for that, which also came out in 1994, which also influenced me to become a rapper. But like he was so smooth, smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like he got like a smooth, raspy ass tone to his voice. He got a chill ass flowing cadence, and he's a dope ass storyteller.
Yeah.
He is so vivid and so, you know what I'm saying, so articulate with his words. The way he puts them together and the way everything just flows and connects, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So like hearing The World Is Yours. You know what I mean? New York State of Mind.
That's my
You know what I mean?
song.
All these, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like everything from front to back on that one. That was a perfect album.
Yeah.
That's another one that I can say is a perfect album. The 3 albums on this 10 that I just gave that I feel are perfect albums from front to back. Rakim, the 18th Letter, Sibo, Till My Casket Drops, Nas Illmatic. Those are my 3 perfect albums out of the 10 that I just named. You know what I mean? Because like, hey, everything just gelled. Everything gelled to that. And, you know what I'm saying? And like, if I'm going to end this off, I'm going to end it off on an artistic note. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to talk to me as Xcursion, like, yo, X, what do you aim to do? You know what I'm saying? When you create your songs, when you come up with your projects, when you arrange your projects, when you release them, so on and so forth. My answer every time is always going to be, I want to make something that people can enjoy from beginning to end.
Right.
And Nas's Illmatic is one of those model projects for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that to help to motivate me, you know what I'm saying, to accomplish that. Nas Illmatic, number 10.
Nice. So my number 10, I went back and forth between a few records, but it just didn't seem like I could do the list without this one because it's sort of what pushed me further into the metal realm, which at the time I was already leaning sort of into, but this was the record that when it came out, it took what was there and made it bigger, more bombastic, more everything. It was faster, it was harder. It was There was only one other record at the time that matched it for speed and ferocity and everything else. It's Metallica, Master of Puppets,
Okay.
as represented. They used Master of Puppets for Stranger Things and so many other things, but you also had Sanitarium, you had Leper Messiah, you had The Thing That Should Not Be. Um, this is a record that is just stacked from beginning to end with. It's the reason Metallica is the biggest metal band in the world. Deservedly so.
Definitely.
It's a record that even in school, during lunchtime, we had lunch in the gym. So this half of the gym was tables and where we got our food, and this half of the gym, they had the basketball court open where we could play basketball. And at that end of the gym, the principal would literally bring in a stereo from the audio visual room, and he would let us play whatever we wanted. on it. So we would bring in cassettes and all of that. And I think the thing that we played basketball during lunchtime to more than anything at that time was Master of Puppets, man. I mean, it was a record that everybody loved, got hyped to. Um, I mean, it just, you know, it had those riffs, man, like da 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 da, you know,
Hey,
had that master, master. It was just a badass record, man. And you know,
hey,
15-year-old me, man, was just like, I had the love of Bad Company in Boston and Bob Seger and all of those bands, but hair bands that started to creep in, like Poison and those type of bands. So I had that influence, and Nugent and those guys were there. But Metallica just pushed it to a whole different level. That they let you know that it could be played fast and loud and aggressively, and it could have themes that wasn't love, it wasn't political based so much. It was just emotional, man. It was let that fucking rage out and just just sort of just bang your head. And sort of the same
yeah,
reason I love sort of the same reason I loved Anthrax. Anthrax was that same style at the same time. You had Anthrax, you had Metallica, and you had Slayer. Those were the three bands that sort of came out all at once, and they were big and abrasive and bombastic and loud, and in like we could stand outside a recess and punch each other to it. So
right.
fight music. Um, it is, in take into account, like I said, I grew up in a town that was 98% white of less than 1,000 people. So,
Yeah,
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot outside of what we were introduced to, but um, it's probably the metal record that I love the most. It's still one of the classics, and there's a reason they use it for TV shows like Stranger Things and Supernatural, because it's fucking classic. Um,
yeah.
so hell, even an Ice-T will tell you, if you listen to his interviews, why did he form Body Count?
Mm-hmm.
The answer, because I heard Master of Puppets and Rain and Blood by Slayer, and I wanted to
Yeah.
be. So, again, if it's good enough for Ice-T, you know,
Hey, but I got you. You know what I mean?
good enough for
And see,
me.
this is the thing. I like, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I got you. And see, this is the thing that I love about rap and rock. Even though, like, sonically we're different,
Mm-hmm.
when it come down to like the core values of our respective genres and culture, there's a lot more similarities than people think.
Oh,
You know what I
it's not contrary, man. You have people out here that you have Hyro the Hero, you have um discrepancies, you have We Are Band Nerds, you have um Linkin Park to a certain extent,
mean?
Rage Against the Machine,
Yeah.
Prophets of Rage evolved off of that. Even Cypress Hill did when they
Mm,
did Rap Star, there was a double CD.
they
They
did
had
a
the
rock star one.
um
Yeah.
so Public Enemy got with Anthrax. So Aerosmith was Run DMC.
Ice
Uh,
Cube and Corn.
Ice Cube and Corn. Even before all of those, Sir Mix-a-Lot did the Iron Man one with the Buttermilk
Oh, you're right.
Biscuits with Metal Church.
I completely forgot about that, but you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, like and even before that, you had Run DMC did Rockbox, which was
Mm-hmm.
Beastie Boys. No sleep till dead.
Yeah.
When that come out, bro, like every white kid
Rapper
I
rock is like this.
Fight for Your Right to Party came out first, and it was a cool song. We danced to it, we partied to it. But No Sleep Till Brooklyn, when that guitar hit, That was the shit, man. That was the one we were like, you know,
Yes.
and then fucking, Ice-T turn around. People forget this. Everlast, when Everlast started, he was part of Syndicate Nation with Ice-T. I got the
Oh,
neck.
wow. No, yeah, you're right. I did forget about that too.
Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
neck. He was on tour. So before he did Whitey Ford, he was the white rapper on Syndicate Records.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I got the neck. That's a Clash song. He was rapping over a Clash record.
Yes.
So
Man, hey, go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead, go
saying
ahead.
rock and rap have been, you know,
Been like this.
they've been like that,
Been.
and should stay like that, man. Like, you
No,
know,
and it should. It definitely and I think it will. I really don't think that there's
absolutely. I know.
any threat. Go ahead.
No, I said I know it will because, you know,
No, for sure, for sure. Yeah, no. And then on top of that here too, just even throw this in here too with the list of examples that we both just gave. Rip rock, cannabis.
yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man, like no. So you're absolutely correct. You're saying 100%. I don't really don't have
And
anything else
I'm
apart
saying
from that
Kenny
cannabis
Katz,
example to even
yeah,
say. Go
Kenny
ahead.
Katz has done it. Necro has a bunch of songs. Gore-Tex, R.A. the Rugged Man has used rock songs. Sage Francis and
Yep.
Atmosphere have mixed rock in. Um, I mean, there's so many examples. It ain't just the mainstream shit. It's even the underground shit that is, you know,
Exactly.
in you had the Judgment Day soundtrack. Um,
Hmm.
where you had Biohazard and Onyx mixed together, and you had Ice T and Lemmy from Motorhead did a song together, and you had you know you had that the Loud record that came out where uh, Incubus did a remix of
Yes.
"Still Not a Player" by Pun. Um,
Hmm.
you know, it's it deserves to be together because it works if you know what you're doing. Now there are tons of examples of white people
Hmm. I got you.
have have tried to mix metal and rap and fallen flat on their face because they were terrible rappers and didn't know the first thing about rap, but they were trying to jump on the bandwagon. Um,
Hmm.
we won't name any names. Fred Durst. Um,
We're alive. That's the truth. Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
so well, Rolling is a great fucking song. Of course it is. It has fucking Method Man and Redman on it. It's gonna be a great
Right.
song that has Method and Redman on it.
Dude,
Like,
All In Together Now was a great song because of Method Man.
but that's
Say
what I'm
what I mean.
saying. Like, you look at the Limp Bizkit songs that were good. Who the fuck was on them? Method, Redman, Ice-T. There wasn't one fucking Limp Bizkit song that was worth a shit unless it had a guest spot on it. You know.
Exactly. Like
Um,
I ain't gonna hold you. The only people like when they first came out, the only people that I know that sang that Nookie song were white people that wanted to be a part of the rap culture. You know
but
what I'm
this is
saying? But like the song itself didn't have shit to do with hip hop at all. I did it all for the Nookie. The Nookie. So you can take that cookie. What cookie are we talking about,
yeah,
sir? And
yeah,
they said,
yeah.
but no, go ahead.
It was the tone of his voice. It wasn't
Yeah,
just that he was rapping. He had that fucking pitch to his voice. I didn't know.
true.
I didn't. It was like, dude, have you fucking hit puberty yet? Like, you sound like a fucking 14-year-old. You know, it,
Right.
like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You're not good. And it's,
And
Corn. I didn't like Corn at first, but the first two Corn records were just kind of like, I don't like them. So people, when they talk about that first Corn record, I'm still not a fan. Now, when they did
mhm,
follow the leader, that was when they found their footing. That was when they knew what they were doing. And that song they did with Cube, that leader of the Corn, or Children of the Corn, whatever it is, um,
mhm.
that was a badass song because it fit the two of their styles together. And again, Cube has that voice that is authoritative in that type of way that fits the style. I'm kind of disappointed Cube hasn't done more songs with more rock artists because he really does have that voice.
He has that voice that's fit for rock.
Yeah.
You
And
know
I'm
what I
not saying all
mean?
the time, I'm not saying do a whole record of it, but you know, I mean, if I could collaborate with somebody on a rock type of song, Cube would be near the top of my list with Ice-T of someone that I would want to do that type of hard ass song with, you know.
True.
Just because you know, I'd like to get Scarface on one because I happen to know Scarface is a fan of metal. I read
Yeah.
it many years back, and I thought he's just saying that for the interview. But he mentioned a band in the interview that made me sit back and be like, okay, this man's a metalhead because he mentioned the band Manowar. And you don't know Manowar unless you're a metalhead. That is a band
Exactly.
you don't learn about Manowar until you're into metal. Okay, that ain't a band that's gonna come up on any chart. It ain't gonna come up in any conversation unless you're among serious fucking metalheads.
Right.
So for the Fifth Ward Houston dude to know Manowar, I was like, okay, yeah, he a metalhead because you know if he knows
Yeah.
Manowar, he listening to metal. Like, okay, I mean that'd be like somebody mentioning Fishbone that don't
Yeah.
listen. Be like, okay, how you know about Fishbone if you ain't a metal fan or you ain't a punk fan? You know, because it's
Mhm.
Fishbone, bro. Like most nobody know about Fishbone other than the Compton Cats or the people like
Yeah.
that. Like, um, but anywho, we're gonna wrap this up because we're probably over 2 hours now. But that's okay. Um, hit them with where they find you, all the social medias, everything but the home address.
Yes, indeed. You can find me on Facebook here at Excursion Online, facebook.com/Excursion Online. Excursion Music on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. You can find me on Excursion Online at SoundCloud as well, soundcloud.com/Excursion Online. And I'm on all platforms here as well, all music platforms also. Excursion, Xcursion, Excursion. No E at the beginning. Xcursion. That's where you can find
Just how you see
me.
it right there. Um, as always, you know what you do here? Well, what we do here, we end every episode by telling you, be well, treat each other with kindness, and remember, no matter what you're going through, music heals the soul.